everybody, welcome to another episode of the Insurance Television Network. Remember, we always tell you, share comments, questions, concerns, anything that you need to know. Well, a lot of you came back to and say, hey, what do we do on the appointment? So today we have some incredible guests, agents who are doing very well in the business, sharing some ideas so they can help you grow your business. So we're going to start from the initial greeting, what you say when you're sitting down with somebody, and walk through the whole enrollment process, the follow-up process. This is all important to make your business succeed. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Let's get started. Now, as you know, we're going to be sitting down today with Florella. So welcome, Florella. So nice to have you here. Nice to have all our guests here today. So what we want to look at is when we first go into an appointment, we want to start talking and we want to compliment people and we want to compliment them with sincere thoughts. Well, what a beautiful painting, what a beautiful wall, what a beautiful dog, whatever it may be. Be sincere because that's what it's all about. So little, groundbreaking questions we ask in the beginning, right? Just to show we're here to help them and all that great stuff, right? But with that, we have to start the show, right? So Florella, nice to meet you and thank you for having us, here. Florella, you filled out this card, you got us here today and all that stuff like that. And I want to just confirm, first of all, one important thing. Do you give me permission to talk to you today?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. What I need is your initials over here. Put your initials here and just sign over there for me, right, Florella?
Can I just ask, what am I signing?
Okay, so what you are signing is permission to call, a permission to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Without this, I cannot talk to you. And as you can see on the bottom here, it says by signing this form, does not say you're enrolling into any plan or disenrolling from a plan you have.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Sure.
Good, so please initial over here.
Okay.
Beautiful. Excellent. Thank you so much, Florella.
You're welcome.
Now, Florella, when we first had spoken, you mentioned to me about certain doctors that you had, right?
Yes.
And now you agents know that you also used the plan availability sheet. The plan availability sheet showed you what you needed as far as doctors, hospital medicines, right? So now we're going to review that with Florella. Florella, now you told me that you have these doctors over here. So you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have some hospitals here. You're taking no medicine, so that's a good thing. But is this a complete list of all the doctors and hospitals for you?
Yeah, that looks pretty complete.
Yeah? Okay. All right, good. Now, you mentioned over here that Dr. Zing and Dr. Winston, those were important doctors to you?
Yes, very
Very good, very good. So we don't want to look to change them because those were important to
No,
you.
I've been going to them for a very long time.
Fair enough.
I haven't changed them.
Once you find a good relationship, you got to stay with it,
Yes.
right? So that's good.
But this doctor here,
Yes.
my endocrinologist,
Right.
I'm open to changing.
Okay, not a problem at all. Not a problem, okay. So let me share with you what we do. So we take all your information and we have software. And as our agents know, the LA Pro software makes your job easy. When you input all the information into that, you're going to see right away what plan makes sense. So what we did, Florella, is we looked at all different plans that are out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And basically we take 3 or 4 different plans that kind of make sense for you. But let me ask you, when you're looking for a plan, do you want all your doctors to be in it?
Definitely, if I can, yeah.
And you probably want all your hospitals in it too?
Yes,
And you want your medicines to be covered?
absolutely.
I gotta ask you a crazy question. You're probably looking for a plan that's gonna cost you as little as possible and give you the most comprehensive benefits?
That sounds good.
And think about it, that's what everybody looks for, and you did your research prior, so that's what makes it easy. So let me just share with you what we did. So we took a look at all your doctors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we compared the top 3 plans. Now, what makes something a top plan? Well, all your doctors being on it, all your hospitals and all your medicines, and at low cost to you. So we take the top 3. And looking at the top 3, then what we do is we look at which ones are covered, right? Because we want all your doctors to be covered.
Right.
And the medicines we want to be covered in the most inexpensive way, and that's what you shared you're looking for, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what we did identify for you is this plan, the ABC Health Plan, right? So with that, we're going to go through and we're going to utilize the summary of benefits I'm going to explain. As you know, when you go to a house, you go there with the summary of benefits or the Medicare Advantage that makes sense, but you also go for a Med Sup and standalone Part D because we don't know which plan is right for them. You might say, hey, you know what, this person's perfect for Med Advantage, but no, they want that peace of mind going anywhere they want, so you carry the 2 types of plans. So with that, Florella, we looked at the ABC company, right? Now, what we want to do is you probably want to know, what do I pay when I go to Dr. Zing? What do I pay to go to my specialists in hospitals? So what we want to look at, first of all, you see that this says ABC company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking at, this happens to be a PPO, this plan, because it's available in your area, right?
What does a PPO mean?
Preferred Provider Organization. And we'll go through that in a moment.
Okay.
But what we want to look at is, with this plan, it's in your area, in your county. And how do we know this is the right plan for you? Because the county you live in, and it's on there. You see that, right?
Right.
Wonderful. So let's go through the benefits for you. So now we go through the summary of benefits, folks, and we start to explain the summary of benefits. And as you know, the summary of benefits shares all the different medical benefits and the costs involved. So let's take a look at that, right? So as we're going through, there's an abbreviated section 2, and let's go through this for you. So what we want to look at is the first thing. And as all our agents know, every single plan has it designed the same way. Every summary of benefits is designed the same way. So first always comes the premium, then comes deductibles, whatever it may be. So let me share this with you, Florella. Now, the monthly premium for this plan is how much?
0?
0, right? It's 0. That's what that is, 0.
Doesn't
You-
cost me anything for the month?
Your premium is 0. I'm sorry to say that, but it's 0. Are you okay with that? Well, that's what it is. Now, we want to look now at deductible, right? Now, as you can see, what does it say as far as a deductible for this plan?
Says it doesn't have.
Does not have a deductible. So far we're starting with no premium and no deductible. That's a good thing, right? Now, as we go along, you're going to have deductible for Part D, and that's $350, but that does not pertain to tiers 1, 2, and 3, only on tiers 4 and 5. All your medicines we took a look at were all tier 1, 2, and 3. So this wouldn't even apply to you. Now, the next thing is, we want to look at, what is this? It's called a MOOP, right? So a MOOP. Now, with this MOOP, right, it's $6,400. What does that mean? That if you went to the doctors every single day, you went to the hospitals every single day, the most you could pay in copays is $6,400.
Okay.
Now, let's take a look at something. You know, $6,400, that's a lot of money in copays to pay, especially we're going to go through what the copays are. Now, what you want to look at basically is how much you're going to pay when you go to certain facilities. Now, if you go for outpatient hospital, what that is, if you go in a facility, you get a test done, procedure, you come back out the same day, that's going to roughly cost you $325.
Okay.
Now, if you went with regular Medicare, it's 20%. So 20% is a lot more than $350, as you can see. So that's a benefit for you. Now, we want to know also when we go to the doctor's offices, right? Well, if you go to your primary care doctor, Doctor's In, it's going to cost you $10. With regular Medicare, it's going to cost you 20%, which is a lot more than $10.
Yeah,
Right.
that's really
So you're
good.
comfortable with that. Now, I know that you're turning 65 now, so, you know, with your group health plan it's terminated, I imagine you paid a lot more than $10.
Yes.
All right, so it's a savings right there.
Definitely.
Good. Now, what we want to look at is, let's talk about, you know, specialists, right? If you go to specialists, it's going to cost you $40. $40 for your specialist, right? When you went, your group health plan is probably more than 40, right?
50.
$50. So it's less. So we want to save you money, but give you comprehensive coverage too, right?
Okay.
Now, what we want to look at is all screenings. You know, what happens if I go for a particular screening? Well, it's only going to cost you $10, right? So certain screenings are going to be 0. On these plans, all your immunizations, your flus, vaccines, mammograms, things like that, are going to cost you 0. So that's a helpful
I
thing,
have a
right?
colonoscopy scheduled for 2 months from now. How much
Well,
is that?
depending on the colonoscopy, in other words, if it's for preventive or it's to search for something else, you know, you're going to pay 0. It might be a copay depending on if it's something else, you know what I'm saying? But the plans outline that, not a problem at all. Now, as we move along, you know, we spoke about these preventive screenings. So, you know, there's a very, very comprehensive list of all kind of screenings that cost you 0. These are the most popular screenings that cost you 0. Now, with Medicare, there is no comprehensive screenings that cost 0. They will cost you 20% no matter what it is.
Oh, okay.
So we want to cap your cost, right? Now, let's say ER. If you go into an ER will cost you $90. Now, if you go into the hospital for 3 days or you're admitted into the hospital, they usually waive that fee for you, right? Urgent care facilities, that's when you go to those docs in a box that are
The
popping up,
ProHealth.
the ProHealth, or whatever it may be, you're going to pay $65 copay for that. That's fair too, right? Now, diagnostic tests. Now, tests, there are hundreds of tests that you could take. Well, the cheapest is going to be 0, and the most is going to be is 50. Which plan is what? Well, we don't know because you don't have any specific tests now, so there's no way of telling you which one it could possibly be. But right now it's 0 and 50, right? As we move along, right? Now, lab work, like your blood tests, things like that, it's going to cost you 0. That's not bad, right?
Wow, I
That's
pay
pretty
a fee
good.
for that now.
And now you're going to pay 0, right? So that's good. Now, doctors and facilities. Now, if you go for outpatient x-rays, it'll cost you between $25 and $75. The idea is which are 25 and which are 75,
Yeah.
depending on the type of x-ray. That's what that is, right? Now, as we move along, if you get therapeutic radiology, 20%. That's the same as Medicare. All plans are like that, right? Now, hearing services. Now, with this type of plan, you get a free hearing exam, right? Now, some plans give you additional benefits. With this plan, because you mentioned to me that you need a hearing aid, this plan offers you $2,000 for hearing benefits, right? Every single year. So that's a big help for you, right? So that's nice, right? Now, dental work. Some plans are more dental than others. On this plan will cover you for 2 oral exams, 2 cleanings, and 1 dental x-ray every year. So it gives you something, some basic coverage, right? To have that. Now, moving right along, vision, again, you get your eye exams, you get your routine exams. If you have to go for another eye exam or eye checkup, that would be $40 for you. Now, moving right along, again, there's so many coverages that are all outlined here, right? Skilled nursing facilities. Now, skilled nursing facilities, right, are covered just as Medicare does, right? If you wanted true benefits for a long-term care facility, nursing home, that's long-term care insurance, right? That's something different. Physical therapy is covered. You pay $40. Are you going for any type of physical therapy? Because you didn't mention that you did.
You know what, I did hurt my back a couple of months ago, and I'm gonna have to go.
Okay. Now, you didn't mention to me what doctor that is, right? You didn't put that on the list, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's Dr. Feingold.
Okay, Dr. Feingold. Now, for example, and we'll double check that to make sure, right? So if Dr. Feingold is in the plan, well, then you have no problem at all. But what if he's not? Well, it is a PPO.
Oh, okay.
But the idea is we want to look at, first of all, if a doctor is important to you, we know that a lot of time physical therapy, chiropractors, they want you to come, right?
Yeah.
So we have to really take a look at that, right, to make sure, right? But, basically, and I'll make a quick phone call to make sure I can check to make sure it's all good for you, right? Now, your medicines, well, you're not taking any medicines, so medicine's not covered.
At the moment.
Right. Now, all your medicines, if you had any, we would have checked that, we would have told you exactly what it is, but you don't have that, right?
Yes.
So what are there, first of all, I want to explain something also, it's very important. This plan is a Medicare Advantage plan. The Medicare Advantage plans, you prepay, no, you don't prepay, you pay as you go. There are Medicare supplement plans where you prepay for your health care, whether you use it or not. Well, what's better? There is no better plan, it's whatever you're comfortable with. The good news is I represent everything. Now, when we were on the phone, you mentioned that you're looking to save money and all that great stuff, but med subs are available also, depending on what your needs are. You don't have a lot of chronic conditions, really you don't see a lot of doctors here. So, a lot of people in your position would say, what, I don't need the med sub, I'd rather go with the Med Advantage, right? But that's that. So with that, what questions do you have for me so that I can help you? Anything about anything.
So you told me that this plan isn't gonna cost me anything.
0, that's correct, yes.
How can that be possible?
Well, the good news is from 2006, 2007, the Medicare Modernization Act. And because of that, insurance companies are funded by the government. They subsidize these plans so you don't have to pay a premium. In fact, it actually saves the government money. That's why they're very, very popular right now.
Okay. Do I have to pay you something?
No, I don't get paid anything. I'm compensated by the insurance company. And the nice thing about it is every insurance company pays me the same way. So there's not one that pays me more than the other. We're all paid the same way, which is good for you. So I hope that
that's
helps you.
great. That's good
Right.
to know. What about these additional benefits?
Mhm.
Because I see a couple of things I'd be interested in.
Okay.
The healthy nutrition. The personal home helper.
Absolutely. So this provides up to 31 visits, right, to help you with certain situations after certain health conditions exist. Right? Again, what the company believes in keeping you fit, keeping you healthy. There's also a program inside here called Silver Sneakers. I know you mentioned you exercise, and that's here, so it's no cost to you. Once you let me know where you want to work out, there are many gyms in the area that are Silver Sneakers gyms, and you can go there, visit unlimited amount of time. So that's a good
Pay
thing.
for that?
No charge.
Wow,
I'm sorry to say there's no charge. Are you okay with that?
I like this. I think I like it.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful.
But I brought my family.
Oh, okay.
Because
Well, nice to see. I was wondering who you folks were. Okay, the family. Okay, good.
Trish and Charlie, they
Okay.
help me with all my healthcare decisions.
Okay, very good.
Make sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Will she lose her Medicare now? Does she give
Okay.
up her Medicare to take this plan?
All right, so great question. Everybody has that all the time. The idea is no, absolutely not. If you did not have Medicare, you cannot get this plan. If you chose a Medicare supplement plan, right, the other plans that we mentioned, right, well, with those plans, you have Medicare, you have a Med Sup, and a standalone Part D. So you have 3 cards doing different things. When you have a Medicare Advantage, such as this ABC carrier, you have your Medicare, but now your Medicare Advantage plan becomes primary. Inside that Medicare Advantage plan is your Part D coverage too. So when you go to the doctor, you don't show 3 different cards, you show one, the Medicare Advantage plan.
Oh.
Joe, where do we travel? We travel out of state sometimes.
Okay.
So how would that work for doctors?
Okay, are there particular doctors that you visit with on a regular basis there?
Yeah, when we go to Florida, we see a couple of I see a couple of doctors.
Okay, not a problem.
And
So,
sometimes he does too.
okay, well, this plan we're talking about you, Charles, we'll talk about you later. But the idea is
But
that
yes.
what you have is, this is a PPO. So if there are doctors over there, of course, absolutely, you can visit them. But what we do is, again, before that, I want you to share with me who those doctors are. This way I can see if they're in the plan, because a lot of plans, you know, they have what they call travel rewards, passport programs, where you can share and utilize the networks in different areas, and it's still in network, but we'll go through that
I'll
for you.
probably be looking to make sure that there's an urgent care or hospital when I'm in.
That's not a problem, those urgent care
What if
facilities
I
are
landed
everywhere.
in the hospital?
If you wind up in a hospital for an emergency, you wouldn't wake up one morning and say, you know what, today's a great day to go into the hospital, right? It's because of an emergency, right? You're covered, no matter where for an emergency. All right, and this particular plan has some worldwide coverage also for you.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good,
Yeah.
yes. Yes,
Joe, I just wanted to double check if Florella travels, can she go to any doctor anywhere?
Well,
Or
the-
even here, because it is a PPO, I thought that.
yes, so being that it is a PPO, you can go to other doctors. Now, I need you to understand the concept. Just because the doctor is not in the plan, doesn't mean that the plan doesn't accept the doctor. So what that means is this, you're a doctor you might have a relationship with, and he says, no problem, I'll bill the insurance company. Or he might say, well, I gotta get paid first. So you gotta pay first and submit the bill into the carrier, and it's covered because it's a PPO. So it depends, it's very flexible, PPOs are flexible, you know, that's what people like about them. And you know what, most people are in PPOs nowadays, so it's a great way to cover you, yes. Any other questions? Yes?
I understand she doesn't take any medications
Yes.
now. Does she necessarily have to enroll in Part D Medicare?
Well, here's what we look at. If you don't choose, and you're turning 65 for us, so if you don't go and sign up for a Part D plan, well, here's the problem. You're gonna get a small fine. This fine is 1% of the national average. Not a lot of money. But the problem is if you don't sign up for a Part D when you're first eligible, you gotta wait the next enrollment period. Now, I'm sure you know the cost of medicines in this country is astronomical, right? So we wanna make sure that you have it. Even if you're not taking medicines, why not? And you know what? It's included in the plan, so why would not do it? If you took a med supplement, right, you have to get the standalone Part D. Well, now you're paying for something. But now, Florella, for this plan that was zero, not only do you have doctors and hospitals covered, but prescriptions also. You're not taking medicines now, but one never knows in the future, right? So now you have that coverage, so I hope that helps you. Trish?
Does Florella have to continue to pay her Part B premium?
Absolutely. However, there are certain what they call Part B give back plans that are available, right? So certain plans available. Unfortunately, in your area, there were none available. That's why we didn't look at that. Yes, they're not everywhere, but they are available. So for our agents, if there is a Part B give back plan, share that with them. Let them know if you can, give them comprehensive health care and also Part B premium give back. Who wins? Everybody wins there. Yes.
Especially, aren't you a veteran?
Yes.
That could be perfect for you.
Well, here's what you look at, and thank you for your service to the country. And here's what we look at is that, a veteran can get the best of both worlds. So a veteran now has the ability to go to the VA hospital or go outside. And let me share a story. There was a couple that I helped many, many years ago, and when I went into their home, the veteran, the husband, said, I don't want this plan. But I said, it's zero, why would you not take it? So the wife just took it, right? So years later, they gave me a call, and all of a sudden, the husband was rushed to the hospital during the middle of the night. They didn't bring him to the VA hospital where he has coverage, right? They brought him to the regular nearby hospital because that's what ambulances do. Now, based upon that, he was in the hospital for many, many months. They called me up crying because they had a bill for hundreds of thousands of dollars because they only had regular Medicare coverage. Now they want to know, how do I get the plan that the wife had, he wanted to get, but he couldn't because he had to wait the next enrollment period. So the idea is for any veteran out there, you have to let them know, thank you. But the idea is we have to show you how to get comprehensive coverage because one never knows, Sean. So we have to make sure you have the coverage that you want because you don't know when you're going to need it. So it makes sense to have it, especially if it has a low premium to it, right? It makes sense, right? Yeah. So, yes, question?
Did you mention vision in her plan? Is vision available for
Yes.
her as well?
So you look at certain plans, right? Certain plans might give you $200 towards vision eyewear, right? You're going to get a routine exam every year. You pay zero for that. That's good. Some plans give you additional vision benefits also, right? This plan does not have anything towards eyeglasses. And there are some plans that after cataract surgery, they give you a free pair of glasses too. Depends on it, but you did mention that you didn't have any condition like that, because when we answer those questions,
No, not right now.
that's why we didn't look at a plan like that, yes. Michael, is a question you had too? I
Yeah,
believe.
it's an important question. So, this plan sounds great. What happens if she gets really sick?
Okay.
Do we stay with this plan? Do we switch plans? How does that work?
Okay, so one doesn't have a crystal ball, right? We never know, but the good thing is it covers you, right?
Mhm.
Don't forget there is a MOOP, that's your max out-of-pocket expense, which was how much, Florella? $6,400. So if you were in a hospital for a year and visiting doctors every day for a year, the doctors, remember, if you went into the hospital for an emergency, it doesn't matter where you go. But remember, you had mentioned to me that you go to St. Barnabas Hospital, and if that's the hospital you're gonna use, well, it doesn't matter, you're gonna pay the normal co-payments when you go to the hospital. And after you've exhausted $6,400, well, then you pay zero. But think about this, with this plan, you were paying $225 each day you went to the hospital for the first 5 days. After that, you paid zero. So if you were in the hospital for 25 days, all you paid for is the first 5. And if you went back in a month later, well, once that $6,400 is exhausted, well, you don't have to worry anymore.
That's
So
great.
it's a cap, and that's a good thing.
Joe, is
absolutely.
that even if you went outside the network?
Right, so let's take a look. Was it an emergency? If it was an emergency, yes. If it wasn't, that's a different story now. So if you had a PPO, you can go to out-of-network doctors. You're gonna pay slightly higher, but you do have that coverage. What I'm listening right now is that, a lot of people figure, you wanna have this med sup where you can go anywhere and everywhere, but the idea is you have to look for the affordability.
Right.
You look at certain plans, the Plan G's, and it costs you hundreds of dollars with the Part D standalone. That's hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars every year, and you mentioned that was something that wasn't affordable for you.
Right.
What we do know is that there are 2 times more people on Medicare Advantage plans than on Medicare supplements today, but it doesn't mean that one is better than the others. It's just a statistic, right? And there are different times of the year that you might be, depending on the state, where you can change into a different plan, but it depends on the state, right? But in our state right now, you can change, but again, it's gotta be under the right situations, right? Question?
You mentioned something very interesting before. If Florella decided not to leave Medicare, and she just had her Part A and B, and she went to the hospital for 1 day, you mentioned that it would be 20% that she would owe. Isn't there a Part A deductible?
Well, here's what we're gonna look at, and that's a great question. The idea is that 20% is when you go to outpatient procedures, and also when you go to doctors and all kinds of facilities, blood work, all those things, that's when you pay that. But when you go into the hospital, it's totally different. You're paying over $1,300 for the first 6 days, and then it goes up to $374, and then it goes up to $700. A lot of money. If you go into the hospital for an extended period of time, you could be spending tens of thousands of dollars.
So Joe, just to clarify that, if Florella goes to the hospital for 1 day and she just has Medicare A and B, she has to pay a minimum of $1,400.
Exactly.
That's quite a chunk.
And now, what do we say with this plan? If you go for 1 day, how much you paying?
300.
$225 because you're in for 1 day. That's far less than
Wow.
$1,400,
Wow,
right?
that's amazing.
So that's a big plus for you. With these Medicare programs, on the Medicare Advantage plans, they at minimum have to give you what Medicare gives. And most of them give you a lot more than Medicare gives. So that's why, Medicare Advantage, there is an
There
advantage
is
to have these
advantage,
programs.
sure.
It truly is, yeah.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yes.
And is there any medical requirement that she has to take to be approved for
The
that?
only type of situation, the only condition presently right now is end-stage renal disease. That's kidney dialysis. And you mentioned you're not seeing an endocrinologist, nothing like that, thank God. So that was an issue. But if you had end-stage renal disease, of course, that's something that can't be helped. But you can call 1-800-Medicare. They have special programs to help you with that, yes.
So, any other pre-existing condition, would be covered?
So here's what we look at is, depending on what you did and when you did it. So here's what we look at. If you had a Medicare Advantage plan and you're going on when you're turning 65, well, that's your initial coverage election period. Well, chances are you don't have that, right? Because you're new to Medicare, right? And if you had credible coverage before. The moment you have a lapse in coverage, right? Well, that's where the problem may begin. You see in certain states, there's no such thing as pre-existing conditions, and in our state, there is not. But certain states, there are. So you have to look at those rules. And that's why agents would simply call us up and we'll let you know what states are covered with pre-existing, which ones aren't. Yes, so great question.
So it's important that if I'm turning 65, or as Flo is turning 65, that she sign up immediately, or she would have a penalty? Is that
Exactly,
true?
yes, exactly. And you know what it is too, is that, forget about the penalty. what happens if, God forbid, she goes into the hospital? What is that gonna cost her? That's astronomical. You know, we look at, in this country, every major concern everybody talks about is lowering the healthcare costs.
Right.
So the idea is this is a fantastic way to lower your co-pays and deductibles that you have with original Medicare and give you the comprehensive coverage that you're looking for. So that's what that is, and I hope you see that, right?
And this is the only plan I need.
This is the plan that makes sense for you at this particular time. This is a plan that's suitable, comprehensive, and affordable. You mentioned to me that zero you can afford, right?
I think so.
There you go, right? Comprehensive, well, we did mention it covered all your doctors you gave us. There was the other two, but again, we know it's a PPO, so you can go out of network, so that's not a problem, right? So that's all good, right? And then what? I mean, comprehensive, affordable, it's all there for you, right? So that makes sense. Yes?
One more question. So with original Medicare, there is no dental or vision
No,
coverage?
no. If you had an accident or something and dental had to be done, that's totally different. Reconstructive, because of an accident or a serious illness, that's totally different. But not for that, yeah, so no dental coverage. So, you know, you look at, we mentioned about the advantage of Medicare Advantage, well, they're giving you dental, vision, hearing that Medicare does not give you. So that's nice, that's a really nice program, right? So I'm sure you like that, right?
Yes.
That's good. Yes?
Flo doesn't drive, she has people that transport her. Is there transportation available if people are not able to take her back and forth to her?
Certain plans, this particular plan did not have that, and I know in your situation, you really didn't mention that was a concern for you. You know, the idea is this, what we look at is, what is a plan that can give you the most and pay the least? Well, we want our doctors to be covered, we want our hospitals to be covered. Our medicines, we don't want to pay a lot of money for the medicines, right?
Absolutely.
So with that, you know, we look for the plan that matches your needs. So this plan does not, but there are other plans, but I did the research. And unfortunately, if we went with that plan, well, 2 of her doctors are not covered. So that kind of makes sense. So which is more important to you, having doctors covered or transportation?
I know my doctor's.
There you go, that's why we chose that, yeah. Any other questions?
Excellent.
All right, so here's what we want to show you now. Now we have to look at the applications.
What's the next step?
The next step is application time, all right? So now we're gonna get you all good. So
Thank you for
again,
explaining everything.
yeah, I'm glad I could help you. So your name, we fill out your name, everything has to be very legible, so when you're filling out everything is nice and legible. Make sure the Medicare ID number you're taking off the red, white, and blue Medicare card, that's very important, right?
Joe, do I need my social security card or anything? like
Not
that?
anymore, because chances are your Medicare ID number is now your cryptic number, so you should have received that on your Medicare card, because
Yes.
you're turning 65, it's not your social security number anymore. It's a Medicare ID number, which is cryptic because of identity
Right,
theft.
that's what I meant.
Now we go through all this and we're filling out the application. It's a zero premium, so we know there's no bill. We don't have to worry about that. They're signing everything there, right? And I asked you the question, do you have end-stage renal disease? And you told me you didn't. Are there any drug coverage you have from a company? Anything like that?
No, I can't take it with me when I return.
Not a problem at all, so the answer is no. Are you in a long-term care facility? No, I'm sitting in your home. That's it, right? We're
I
not.
feel like I.
So it's no. Now, are you in Medicaid?
No.
Okay, and you would know if you have a little benefit in the state of New York and other states, it's a benefit card, different colors for different states, so you know that's no. Now, do you work?
I'm getting ready to retire.
You're getting ready to retire, lucky you, lucky you. How many years you been working at that company?
A very long time.
A very long time. Well, the good news is you probably now, you made a lot of money in the 401k, so you probably have a lot of money to live a happy life, so I'm sure you're okay, right?
Yes.
Good, well, you enjoy it, right? Now, again, folks, what we're looking at also is, remember, we're starting to pique the curiosity and get to understand what that client is all about. Because they're gonna become your client right now. So we wanna start to look at different things we can help them with, right? Now, again, we have your primary care doctor here, so that's all good, right? Now, we're gonna check off, this is your new to Medicare, it's your ICEP, so we have that. Now, again, we know that we did all this, we have the assistance programs there. Now, we're gonna have a signature right over here, we're gonna put today's date there, you're all good. Don't mind me talking to myself.
It's okay, there's a no.
Okay, most people do. Okay, we're all good there. So here's what I need you to do. This is really hard. Here's your pen for you. Right here, put your autograph right there. Beautiful. Excellent. Beautiful. We got all of that. Let me just double check all the paperwork for you. Okay, we got the scope of appointments, so it's all good. Now, Lorella?
Anything else?
Oh, yeah. I have good news and bad news. Which one do you want first?
I'll take the Bad news.
The bad news. Well, this coverage is not gonna start tomorrow. It's gonna start on the first of the month, because that's when your coverage takes in effect. Remember, we looked on the Medicare card, and it showed you when it started, that's when it's gonna start for you, right? Are you okay with that?
I have coverage till the end of the month.
There you go, so it works out fine. Now, one important thing I have for you, a job for you to do.
Oh,
Do you think you could do it?
I think so.
Are you sure?
Sure.
Good.
Yes.
When you get your card, give me a call. And if you don't get your card, give me a call. So what do you need to do?
Give you a call as soon as I get.
There you go, you have to give me a
Or if I
call.
don't get it.
There you go, give me a call. So it's very, very important. Now, folks, the reason why we do this is we need to put your business on autopilot. You know, chances are you're gonna become very, very busy, and we wanna tend to their needs. So you should be, in other words, checking the enrollment status, calling up the carriers one week after you submit it to us. You should be checking on the status, right? But suppose you messed up, you didn't get to it. Well, she's gonna be calling you because you gave a job for her to do. Is to call you if she got the card and call you if she doesn't get the card. So she's gonna call you, right?
Yes.
Now we know that's gonna happen. Well, the idea is that you must understand one important thing, that I am here to help Florella with all her concerns. Remember, there's a major concern that they all have. You know, health and wealth in this country. Those are the two driving concerns that everybody retiring has. So what we need to look at is, I need to help her because I want to become a valuable resource for her. But we must make sure we're 110% compliant in everything we do. You do know on appointments we cannot talk about non-health related products. So we can't talk about things, but the idea is we want Florella to know we are there to help them. There is nothing wrong with that, right? So what we want to look at is, how do we approach the cross-selling in a compliant way? Because it's needed, right, to help this client out. Because if you don't do that business with them, somebody else will, guaranteed. So what we need to do is make sure we have this autopilot program. You know, we always tell you share a mug or share a very compliant gift with them, right? So the idea is if you share the mug with them and it has all your business information, other products, that's fine. You're not going to discuss it at that meeting. But when they call you back to tell you they got their card, you could always go back and say, hey, Florella, I left you some information. So Florella, now that you call me back today, right? So thank you. So you got your card, Florella?
Yes, I got my
Wonderful,
card.
congratulations. Are there any questions that you have pertaining to your plan?
So you said when I go to the pharmacy, what
Yes.
information do I?
Well, you don't need, because you have no medicines, right? You mentioned you have no
But in the
medicines.
future, if I
In the
don't-
future, just show your card, right?
Oh.
Now, what you can do is, because you don't know what medicines are covered and what's not covered,
Oh, right.
because not every plan covers all the medicines, as we know. But the idea is, since we don't know right now, you know, with ABC companies, a very comprehensive formulary, meaning the medicines are covered. But what you can do is, if you know a medicine, right, you can call me up, and I will tell you if it's covered or not. Because if maybe it's not covered, because there is no plan that covers every single medicine, not one plan. So if you call me in advance, maybe perhaps there might be another generic medicine, you can contact your doctor. In other words, I'm here for you, right? So that's very important, right? So you got your card, your name is spelled right, everything is good?
Yes,
All right,
doctor's on
good,
there.
good, good. I need you to tell everybody know about the great work that I do. Can you do that for me?
Absolutely.
Now, Flora, I just want to ask you one thing. I know when I spoke to you, you know, you did mention that you're retiring and stuff like that. You know, like most people, once they retire, you know, they need to do something to guarantee their income for the rest of their life. We hope you live to be 120. But if you do live longer than that, well, we got to make sure you have the money for that, right? So I just want to let you know, we do some wonderful financial planning that can really, you know, show you how to get where you want to get in retirement.
Okay.
Is that of interest to you?
Yeah, I actually have a 401k at my job.
Okay,
I
wonderful.
really don't know.
You don't know what to do, and I know a lot of people feel that way. You know, there's two things we could do. You know, I can come to you, we can discuss it, or I also have seminars going on, and you can be my guest. I'd love to have you there. So I'll share that information with you, right?
And you know what, I have a little small life insurance policy, but I
Okay.
was thinking of getting some more now.
Okay, so like a final expense plan or something like that.
Yeah,
They're
I'm
very
not-
affordable, yeah.
Don't know too much about it,
Right.
but maybe you can help me out.
That's my pleasure to do that. You know, why don't we do this? I'm going to be in your area next week. So if you like, I could spend, you know, a little time with you and just show you everything we do. So we have all the pieces of your puzzle together. Fair enough?
Fair enough,
Beautiful,
sounds good.
beautiful. Well, Florella, I just want to say it was wonderful meeting with you, and thank you so much for being part of this. If you have any questions, you know I'm always here for you. You can call me from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. I answer my phone, okay? And that's very important, right?
Yes, every time I call you, you can see him.
There you go, and that's what it's all about. You see, folks, it's all about answering your phone, being in contact, talking about other products that can help them, right? Now, our other guests that are here today, are there any other questions that you think what questions do people ask of you that we could help our viewers with today too?
Well, I noticed that you closed your Medicare appointment with her, and then you started talking about what else you can do for her.
That was not on that appointment.
Right.
That was the follow-up call. So I'm glad you brought that up. So everybody knows you cannot talk about things. You have to be very, very compliant. I stress that. You cannot talk about anything non-health related. You could talk about dental plans, things like that, but you cannot talk about anything non-health related. So thank you for bringing that up. And I know that's where you were going, right? Any other questions what are some questions that, clients, prospects, pose to you when you're at meetings with them?
Sometimes when my client signs up with, like Flo signs up with you, she got her Medicare, her cards, other people still try to contact her. What is the strategy that we can tell the clients that they can use to say, to keep the relationship with us?
Okay, so that's a fantastic question, right? So at the meeting, when we're summing it all up, depending on the season, it might be AEP where they're getting lots of media they see, lots of mailers out there, right? So what you have to look at, how do you secure your business? And that's a very important question. There's only two ways to make money in insurance business, right? One way is to attract new clients, and the other way is to sell more products to your existing clients. So if you're losing a client while you lost a client, and it takes you 3 times more effort to get a new client than to retain a client. So retaining is important. So here's what you do. Suppose you just sign them up because they're turning 65. Florella, I just want to let you know I'm always here. Now, you might now, tell your friend, I signed up for ABC. Your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, and they're going to say, Florella, why did you do this? You should have done this. Well, the idea is, we looked at that, remember? I told you that we look at all the different programs, all the different plans that are in your neighborhood, and this is the plan that cost you the least and gave you the most, and that's what you told me you wanted, right? So you make sure that when your friend says to you, why did you choose that? Because what you're going to say is this: because Joe showed me all the plans out there. I identified Med Subs and Med Advantage and everything in between. He did all the research. He used his comprehensive software to show me that was a plan that cost me the least and gave me the most comprehensive health care. And maybe what's going to happen is that person, that know-it-all person, that relative to friend, might become a client for you too. You never know.
That's a good point.
Because what we want to do is, remember, very important, I need to build up my new client to become an advocate for me. You have to understand, if a person's turning 65, they usually have a circle of friends that are turning 65 too. So you have to let them know, you have to keep in contact with them. It's very important. Send out those birthday cards. Those are very important to do, right? Very important. So I hope that answers the question. Now, if it was OEP, right, or AEP, and it was crazy out there, right, you have to let people know that, you might get phone calls from some other people. You might have filled out a card or searched the internet before you found me. The idea is you're going to get lots of phone calls, but here's what you tell them. I've been taken care of. I'm with Joe. That's all that matters. Because I represent everything. I do answer my phone, and I have everything you need. Is that important to you?
Absolutely.
There you go. So I hope that answers the question, right? Any other questions? Yes.
So I guess to wrap up what you were saying, if you want to have client retention, you really have to do a proper assessment and do the best thing for the client.
Right.
And then the chances of them leaving are less.
Absolutely. Think about this.
Yeah.
Why is somebody going to leave you? Why would somebody leave you? They leave you because somebody showed them something that made more sense or it saved them more money.
Right.
What you have to look at as an agent, what you have to look at is if a person is in a plan already, and maybe it's AEP or OEP, and you're looking, or maybe it's a special election to change it to another plan, you have to find out what is the buzz phrase, what is the benefits that they need that the other agent didn't give them. Find it. But if you talk to somebody, and when you're talking to them, they're on a plan, and you research it, and you find out that they're on the right plan, they're on the right plan. We're not going to change them. But there's not a lot of agents out there who are comprehensive and unbiased the way we are. Remember, we care about the clients, and the clients is what counts, right? So if they're on a plan that makes sense, good. I'm happy for you. But it doesn't mean you can't try to cross-sell something else. All you have to do to develop your business is have a shot to tell your story. That's what a lead is. It's a shot to tell your story. Maybe you can't help them with a Medicare program, but maybe you could help them with dental, maybe with final expense, maybe with financial products. It's all about finding what you could help them. Because if you leave something under there and didn't talk to them, guess what?
Yeah.
Another agent will.
Somebody else is gonna get it now.
And guess what? Maybe they might sell them and take away businesses that you have with them. Can't do that. So stay on top of your business and your business will work.
I
Yes.
have another question. What's a good way to ask your clients for referrals?
Okay. Is that a question you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So here's what it is, right? You go like this, please, please. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. There's no pleading, we don't have to. The idea is when you're sitting down with people, remember, as you get better and better at this, there's certain things you'll do, right? The idea is, remember what we always practice, dead don't sell, right? Remember that. You see, you have to be happy-go-lucky, right? That's what it's all about, right? Trish, I know when you're on the phone, you're happy-go-lucky, right? Most of you are, you're happy-go-lucky on the phone. That's what it's all about, right? So the idea is when you're there, you have to say, you know what, Florella, how did I do today? How did I do? Did good. You sure? Is there anything I didn't share with you? Did I tell you? How much is the product, by the way? How much is this plan?
0.
0, right. Can you go to Dr. Horowitz?
Yes.
Now, how much are you gonna pay? He's a specialist.
40.
There you go. When you go to St. Barnabas Hospital, how much are you gonna pay?
$90 for the emergency room.
If you went in, and then it's waived, but how much would you pay? If you went in for 1 day, how much you pay?
$325.
Not bad. So you understand the plan. You see, my job for you is so you understand your health care. I care about your health care. I don't want no surprise bills. I want you to say, wow, you put me in a good plan. So the question I ask of you is, did I do my job?
Yes.
Do you feel
definitely.
satisfied?
Absolutely.
Are you going to tell all your friends about me?
Most definitely.
Are you sure?
Yes.
All right. There you go. So that's some ways you could do that. Absolutely.
Okay?
Another
Yeah, I
one?
had a question.
Yes.
When you were talking about compliance just before, you mentioned about poor selling, it's
Yeah.
a great point. What if you're on the phone with somebody and you realize that you really can't help them,
Mhm.
and you've established that on the telephone?
Okay.
How do you segue into, finally, you can't really segue into final
Right.
expense. What do you recommend?
So here's what you look at. The idea is what is a particular type of plan that you can definitely offer to somebody that you know everybody could use.
Life insurance.
Dental?
Yeah.
Oh, dental.
Everybody could use dental. Now, suppose you're on the phone with somebody and somebody says to you, oh, I'm on a DEF company. Okay, good. Is it covering you the way you want to? Yeah, no problem. All your doctors are covered? Oh, yeah. What about when you go to the dentist? Is it covering you? No. What do you mean? Do you have any dental needs? Yeah. Oh. So that plan is not really covering your dental needs. Did you know that there are plans you're eligible for in your area, right? You're in ABC County? Do you know there are plans you're eligible for that will cover your doctors, your hospitals, your medicines, and give you more dental coverage than you have now? Do you know that? No.
No.
Well, now you know. Let me show you what I could do. Give me an idea. Primary care doctors. Remember how we go on the phone and we start go through the drill because they don't know. The idea is this conversation go on for hours. It's supposed to be on presentation when you're sitting down with the people, but there's a lot of things that happen before.
Right.
Because this will never happen if you don't do something else first.
Right.
And what's the first thing you need to do all the time? Starts with a C.
Well,
Yeah, you got to make calls. Without calls, nothing ever happens. So the idea is we hear a lot of agents saying, how many calls do I have to make? Well, how much money do you want to make? That's all it is. Right? Think about it. Trish, you make calls every day.
Yes, I do.
Do you? Do you? Do you?
Every day.
Do some people hang up on you?
Sure.
Of course. Don't let that bother you because the end result is you're going to find people that we can do this with today. But you have to just keep on doing it. It's that regimen every day, right?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Any other questions on this? So, yes, one
Just
more?
one question.
Okay.
And not Medicare specific, to maintain your client, to keep that relationship. Should we have key notes in regards to that client that we know about? Their family, just key notes that when we visit with them next year, we can say, how was that vacation? Should we keep notes like that?
Yes, and here's what you do. What I really realized many, many years ago is just what you're saying, right? Think about this. If a person calls me up Or if you called me up and you say, hi Joe, this is Florella. Who? Florella. What's going on? Right? Because I don't really remember her. You see what happens is, there's going to be people you remember, right? There's always people in life you remember more than others, right? And whatever it is, it is. But the idea is the people that you don't remember, you better figure out a way to remember them so they feel special and they love you. Because you need to create raving fans. The moment you don't create a raving fan, well, maybe Michael will get that business away from me, right? So what's some ways you could do that? When I take my application and I leave their house, and I'm processing the application, on the back I'm going to write, lived in a corner house, white, had a little dog named Bob, right? Had a parakeet named Sue, right? Loved to play tennis because I saw the tennis racket there, right? Drove a Ferrari. Whatever it is, you're getting to know them, right? And that's very good, Dietrich. I'm getting to know them. And I'm putting it there. This way, when they call you up and say, hey Joe, this is Dietrich. Wonderful, how you been? Everything okay? Hey, you know what, can you hold on a minute? Then I run to my file. I go find her application and I flip it over and I know everything about them. You see, some people you're going to hear from a lot. Some people you're never going to hear from. And everything in between.
You
Yes.
can also put notes in LA Pro too.
There you go.
Oh,
Very
wow.
good. In LA Pro, that software that you get. And how much is that software?
0.
Zero. How much was that software to you?
0.
And for you? It
Zero.
was all zero to you?
Zero.
Okay, well, it's always going to be zero. Sorry. So the idea in LA Pro, you can put all information about those clients, those prospects, to help you build your business. Because building your business with people that know you care, well, that grows exponentially every day, right? Any other questions? Yes.
So I noticed that when you arrived at the appointment, you weren't ripping an application out of that, summary of benefits
Right.
book,
Right. Why?
because you were prepared.
And you're asking me for a reason because you want to know why I did
Why?
that?
Why?
There's a reason for everything we do. Here's what I do know, right? I do know that inside the summary of benefits, the applications, they're not easy. You don't just go like this and they come out. You gotta rip them and tear them, and all of a sudden, I can't tell you how many agents hand me applications that are ripped and torn and everything along the side there. That's no good. So the idea is, I take the perforations and I nicely take it out of the book because it's all there. Because if you don't do that, then what happens is, now you got a fumble, you might rip it, and this and that, and then you look like, what is this guy doing? You don't look professional. Have everything prepared. For all you Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts out there, we're going to take all that knowledge you used from years ago and bring it to the business table. So I hope that helps you. It's all about being prepared, right? That's it. What else? What did you learn today from this episode?
Well, I learned that it was important that you go through the whole summary plan description to assure that the client understands what plan she is enrolling in.
Think about this. If you don't explain everything, you're leaving your business up for grabs. Because remember one thing, there is no perfect plan. There is no one perfect plan out there. Everybody's different. Trish, different plan for you, Mike, different plan for you, and everybody in between. So the idea is if you don't really talk about all the different things, sometimes you see you were peeking as I said things to other agents, it thought of another question. Well, if I don't ask and I don't show all the benefits that are covered, it might not pique your interest to tell me about a condition that you need. And all of a sudden when you need that and it's not covered, then some other agent or her calling up an insurance company, whatever it is, you lost your business. You need to be very thorough in everything that you do. Very thorough about the doctors, right? Is that doctor important to you? You have to know these things. Is that a doctor that's important? And what type of doctor is it, right? You need to know these things. If a person tells you, yes, I have a chiropractor, wonderful. Is that doctor important to you? We know a chiropractor is probably going in 2 or 3 times a week. That can be costly, so we need to make sure the co-payments for a specialist or a chiropractic are in line. Because if not, maybe a med sup might be cheaper. These are all things we have to do. We have to learn about the customer to help them. And the more they understand their plan, that customer becomes an advocate for you and a raving fan because they know people, they know other people in the area. 11,000 people a day are turning 65 in this country. They're all friends with someone. You might be hitting the jackpot one day. We never know, right? So that's it. Any other questions?
Well, the other thing that I like was a good takeaway is you assured with the client as you was going through that this is what you wanted as per our discussion.
Exactly, right? We want to make sure.
Yes.
We always practice know before you go, so you need to know before you go, right? You know, Charles, why do you know before you go? What is it, how has it helped you in your business?
Well, every time we've gone to an appointment, we've actually sold it.
Sold them. So let me ask you a question. So how many appointments, so Trish, when you go on appointments, how many have you not sold?
None,
None.
none.
So you have a 100% closing ratio?
Yes,
Because we all practice know before you go.
before you go.
Absolutely.
If I learn all their needs, their doctor's house of medicines, how do I ever go wrong? I have everything I need. And that's how you build your business. So whether you're starting with your first client or it's your 400th client, never stop learning and never stop doing what you're supposed to do.
I have a question.
Yes.
So what if somebody doesn't want to give you the information over the phone? Any information?
Right. You see what's very important is that we understand sometimes somebody might not feel comfortable, right? They don't know who you are. You know, but they went on the internet, or they filled out a business supply mail, or whatever was compliant, whatever they did, that's what they did. But they still don't know who you are. The idea is that until they feel comfortable with you, well, maybe you didn't say the right things in the right voice, the right content, tone, and delivery wasn't right on the phone, and you could view other episodes of the Insurance Television Network and how to talk to people. But the idea is if you're not saying the right things to these people, they might be hesitant.
Right.
But even if they remain to be hesitant, I can't do my job. You know, we don't go to people's houses to do fact-finding missions. Because what happens, you go for fact-finding, now you're going to come back again, you're taking this 1 hour appointment, turn it into 4 hours, and maybe it's not going to work because they're on the right plan. Why do we need to do that? So if a person is hesitant, you let them know, you know what, I understand your concern, here's my telephone number, if you have any questions, you need any help, give me a call. And also, by the way, you can view my website to see who I am. Yes?
Or you could have them come to the office.
Come to your office if you have an office, right? It's important for them, they need to feel comfortable. You're providing a service that makes sense. I mean, how many of you wish you had the health care that these seniors have? Don't you wish you had it?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
They have it one day, many years from now when we turn 65, right?
Many,
Right? Many years, right? Many years, right? We'll all get that, right? But the idea is look, you got to show how you can help people. That's all it is. Yes.
But you want to be prepared when you go to their house because they don't want you in their house all day. You don't want to be there all day.
Exactly.
You don't want to be fumbling in front of your computer.
Right.
Oh, what's the name of that doctor? How do you spell
Exactly,
it?
right?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
So,
You know, and think about so many insurance companies that what they do is they send people to your house to do this fact-finding mission, and they send 2 agents to their house. That's no good. The
Yeah.
idea is this is such a simple business. We're dealing with the seniors. We want to be courteous to them, kind, all that stuff like that, and we can help them. But if they don't share certain information in the beginning, how can we ever help them? So, you know, in reply to what you're saying is, if they don't want to share information, well, I understand, and move on. Leave your telephone number, make them feel comfortable.
No, before
Yes.
you go.
Yeah,
That's
know before you go.
the thing I hear a lot with clients is that they're very overwhelmed. So we're going in, we're.
Yeah.
Simplify things.
Yeah, simplify things, right? You just had a question?
Yeah, some clients believe that, you know, it's so complicated and they're overwhelmed, as Flo was saying. To help them better understand, is it okay for them to have an advocate there with them? Like, should we invite a daughter or a son?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
We have nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Nothing to hide. Because if you make, right, you guys are the advocates, right. So if you invite this, it shows your credentials. I have nothing to hide. Because we want to be very open with these people. So that's great, yes, absolutely.
And you may pick up another client.
You may pick up another client, exactly. That's it.
Absolutely.
And what you usually do is if you have another, and not your situation, because you're not seniors, right? You're not, right?
No,
Okay,
thank you.
there you go. So here's how we look at it. You're portraying a senior.
Fantastic.
You're portraying a senior. So here's what we look at is that, right? The idea is if you come across, if there's another couple or some other people who are sitting down there, right? What you do is that prospect, right, is relying on these people to be their voice of reason. So when you're talking to her, really guide the conversation to them because
Absolutely.
they're the ones that go, oh yeah, that's good, Flo.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's what you gotta do. So guide the conversation towards them and they're going, yes, and she's going, yeah, they said yes, I'm in.
Yeah.
But even if they say yes, they're in, what you're gonna do is reinform that she really understands the plan because they're gonna go, my God, this guy's really good. And she's understanding it. So they're saying yes because they realize I'm good. She's saying yes because she realizes I'm good. Who's better than us?
Right.
That's the way you have to do it. And I would have never been on that appointment if I didn't have all the information there. See how easy it is? And where does it start from? A call.
Call.
So with that, folks, we are concluded. You all sit down now. Don't get up. I haven't dismissed the class yet. But everybody, I want to welcome you all again to another episode of the Insurance Television Network. We're designed to help you grow your business. Refer back to this. If you have any questions or concerns, please give us a call. Now, guys, to our viewing audience, what's one thing that you could say to them today? What? Make a call. There you go. Make those calls. You could do it. We'll talk to you soon. See you next time.